time to audit your goals. Which ones are safe? Which ones are keeping you exactly where you were 6 years ago? 2020 was 6 years ago, and I went through my goals, and a lot of my goals are the same. And I think it's because they're not big enough. They're not moving me. I'm not reinventing myself. They're not challenging. They're not truly compelling. I think it's time we audit our goals. I think it's time we set delusional goals. I call these goals pipe dreams, things that just seem impossible, that seem once upon a time, seem like fucking fairy tales. I think it's time to challenge ourselves and to create something that it gets out of our comfort zone, that takes us into a different timeline, that puts us in a different reality. I think our typical goals of, lose weight, get to this weight, and make X amount of money, and I want to travel more, and, all that's fine. But there's something safe about them. And I think that's why nothing's changed. And nothing changes if nothing changes. If your goals don't scare the piss out of you, is that a goal? Or is that just not like another word for a preference? I'd prefer to have a life where I get to travel a little bit more, or my spouse is like this, or I meet a significant other or a partner that's like this, or that's just a preference. That's not a goal. And don't get me wrong, we're not talking about systems here. Maybe that will be for a different video. I'm just talking about the big delusional goals. One of mine that just seems completely impossible is running a marathon. I want to run a marathon. I haven't even ran more than a mile in my entire life. So running a marathon seems impossible, which is why I want to do it. That is a year-defining delusional goal. It's not like running a marathon is impossible. It just, I think it would rewire my DNA if I did it, which is why I must. If your goals stay small, you stay small. And I'm tired of being the same person. Being the same person is what got me here in the first place and has got me scratching and clawing and going back to the drawing board. Delusional goals force you to upgrade your identity, to shift into a different timeline, to a quantum leap, I've seen, if I understand the term correctly. I think it's important to have the audacity and the confidence to even set a crazy ass goal. You don't just need confidence, you need inevitability. You need, this is where all my resources and assets are going towards. And we can talk about chunking your goals down and building them through consistent systems, right? Like for me, running a marathon, 26 miles in one go, I should start with running a consistent mile until that gets boring, until it's 5 miles, until that gets boring, and then it's 10 miles. And then, train and get there and then just push yourself. I think running a marathon is just as much mental as it is physical. And that is a year-defining, life-altering goal for me. I also want to support myself and my family with my creativity and getting pulled out of the matrix. That is quite audacious. We live in a capitalist structure, and to opt out is difficult. Not everybody gets to do that. There's not exactly a blueprint for it. So that's a delusional goal. These are pipe dreams because once upon a time, I wanted to be a professional. I was tired of being this amateur, and I wanted to be a professional. And to me, I just told my daughter this recently, a professional, what the difference is between an amateur and a pro is the pro gets paid. An amateur just does it for funsies, which is fine. That's totally okay. If it's your hobby, that's great. But that started off as a pipe dream for me. I wanted to pay my bills with art money, and I was able to finally do that. That started off as a pipe dream, and now it's a reality. How do I scale the next mountain? You can't do it by being realistic. Realism, as it were, is just some matrix program to just keep you chained to your 9 to 5, to your commute to work, and whatever that is. And I'm just over that. Once again, this is going to sound delusional, That's the fucking point. If you don't cringe saying it out loud, if it doesn't worry you a little bit, then it ain't delusional enough. And the way I see it, suffering is inevitable. You're going to suffer. So you might as well choose your suffering. And you might as well make it meaningful. Or opt out of suffering altogether. Do it in a way that's blissful and pure. I think it was James Clear that says we don't rise to the level of our goals. We collapse to the level of our standards or to our habits or to our systems or whatever. And I think that totally stands. Motivation will fade. Momentum will not. I think we're already delusional. It's just in the wrong direction. We're delusional in staying opt-in side. We're delusional in staying into the matrix, opting for paying the bills and passing around the Monopoly board, passing around Go, collecting 200. And something has to change. You have to break pattern. You have to snap out. Man, I had crazy goals when I was younger, when all I had was audacity. And, I was on my Marty Supreme shit in my 20s. Nothing was going to stop me. I wanted to make a feature film. I wanted to make a feature film on a phone. I wanted to support my family with my bills. I wanted to have a family. Like, everything I have is a pipe dream. Like, this camera was a pipe dream at one point. I think the delusional goal, if it's truly compelling and you have the right reasons, I think that creates positive pressure to propel you to move forward towards your goal. And here's the caveat. The person you become en route to your goal is kind of the whole purpose, really. It's the journey, not the destination. You might not achieve everything you want in 2026. It might take to 2032, and that's okay. It started off as a pipe dream. It started off as a goal. You wrote it down on paper, and then it became actualized. I have pages upon pages of notebooks of goals that I wrote down on paper that actually came true, and I never went back to them and checked them off and had the satisfaction to do that until recently. And I've come so far, and there's so much further to go. I haven't even scratched the surface on this video on how far you can go. Just make your goals compelling, make them unrealistic. Be unrealistic. Don't settle. Be delusional. Go full psycho. Go full demon LeBron mode. Go berserk with your goals. But take action towards it. Create an action plan. What are your goals creatively? What are your goals physically, health-wise? What are your goals money-wise, job-wise, family-wise, relationships-wise? Create a delusional goal for each one. The person that I will become to train for the marathon will be the person that I need to be to achieve the next goal, the next delusional goal, the next cycle, the next season. And I want to see you guys go onto your journey and comment below what your delusional goals look like. I want to know. Set a delusional goal so radical that it completely reorganizes your life. That's the point.